This is ABC7 News at 11, your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Hello and welcome. I'm Scott Dennis. Thanks so much for joining us. Jacqueline has the night off. Our top story this evening, your internet service provider like Comcast, Verizon, or AT&T is not allowed to decide which video streaming content or website downloads faster than others. But a Republican-led Federal Communications Commission repealed that rule today, and some lawmakers are already vowing to fight back. Natasha Chen explains what steps they can take.
A Republican majority on the Federal Communications Commission voted to repeal an Obama-era rule today that had so far stopped internet providers from speeding up or slowing down sites at their choosing.
The chair votes aye. The item is adopted.
They argued that repealing this rule allows companies to expand and innovate.
After a 2-year detour, one that has seen investment decline, broadband deployments put on hold, and innovative new offerings shelved, it's great to see the FCC returning to this proven regulatory approach.
But outside the hearing, protesters said the plan jeopardizes a free and open internet. Right away, Democratic Senator Ed Markey of Massachusetts drafted this resolution in attempts to stop the ruling from going into effect. Under the Congressional Review Act, legislators have 60 days after a federal agency rules on an issue to submit a resolution of disapproval.
These rules allow a small set of companies and a small set of individuals to make decisions about the communications platforms for all of us.
Mitchell Baker of Mozilla says you might find a website that's slow to load, not because of your connection, but because the people who made the site don't have the money to pay the internet service provider for a premium experience.
And by removing the regulation, it means that just a very small handful of people and the businesses and the motives that motivate them actually determine the communications that's available to all the rest of us.
In Washington, I'm Natasha Chen reporting.
Now that net neutrality protections will be revoked, some worry this could create a disadvantage for tech startup companies and possibly raise costs for consumers, while others are happy to see the government step away from regulating the internet.
This is exactly what happened with cable TV. Okay, and you see all the game playing which goes on, all the bundling which goes on, prices keep going up and up.
They haven't gotten healthcare right, they didn't get Social Security right, they don't get much right. And so to give them control of what is essentially the last free market online is really scary.
The attorneys general in several states are threatening to sue the FCC. Internet service providers will now be required to disclose any instances of blocking or prioritizing websites to the Federal Trade Commission. In other news, Bradenton police say a man who was a foster parent for more than 12 years is now charged with raping and fathering a child with a girl he was supposed to be caring for. Police say the now 19-year-old victim has a 4-month-old child fathered by the accused. 65-year-old Albert Farrell was a licensed foster parent through Camelot Community Care. When detectives interviewed him, they say he admitted to having sex with the victim beginning when she was 15 years old. After being told he was being arrested, police say Farrell attempted to take a bottle of pills and kicked a detective. He's now charged with sexual battery of a child and battery on a law enforcement officer. An 18-year-old Immokalee man is arrested for driving under the influence after deputies say he crashed into a Sarasota County Sheriff's Animal Services van. Just after 10 last night, deputies responded to a rollover crash on I-75 in Northport. Before deputies arrived, the driver took off on foot. The Sheriff's Office helicopter and Northport Police K-9 unit tracked the driver to a nearby wooded area. Roberto Garcia was taken into custody for fleeing the scene of a crash. The Animal Services officer was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Garcia is charged with driving under the influence, 2 counts of hit and run, and driving without a valid license. A 4-year battle over a beachfront treehouse is now going before the U.S. Supreme Court. A Holmes Beach couple is battling the city for the right to let the treehouse stand. The couple did not receive any complaints from the city for 2 years after their nearly $30,000 treehouse was built. And then they were told they needed a permit. After applying for one, they were denied. The city claiming the treehouse was built too close to the water and ordering it removed. So the owners took the issue to court. Now, 6 years and hundreds of thousands of dollars later, and 3 building officials later, the couple has not given up the fight for their tropical oasis.
We feel that there's enough important issues here, from taking our property right away, from taking our petition right away, to judges rubber stamping. You know, if we have a justice system and we can't go and get a hearing, then why do we have a justice system? Why do we have a court system?
Now the couple is waiting to hear from the Supreme Court, hoping it will decide to hear their case. And although the outcome hasn't been promising so far, the couple is confident in the battle they're fighting. Well, let's get a check on our weather. It was a great day to be out there in the beach. Let's get with Steve Newman, who's in for Bob tonight. Hi, Steve.
Hey, Sky. Boy, is this going to be a great weekend to be at the beach with temperatures in the low 80s. A lot of people, school is letting out up north, and they're coming here for the holidays. They're going to be happy with what they find. Today's high temperatures were about low to mid 70s. Right now, we've cooled up to 67 at Longboat Key, Siesta 65, some 50s inland. It's all part of a major shift in weather that's seen the subtropical jet, and this is a warm, mild air mass being blown aloft in our direction. And even though there's a cold front coming up from the northwest, that subtropical jet blowing up against it is keeping any cool air at bay, and there's not a lot of low-level moisture down here to bring any showers, so I don't think we're going to see any significant chance of rain, maybe 20–30% overnight. None is showing up on radar, although Tampa radar is out of service at the moment. Future radar from the high-resolution rapid refresh model shows a few scattered sprinkles possible in the morning and in the afternoon. The front comes through during the afternoon, mainly dry, and then it turns out to be a very nice weekend indeed with a slow warming trend. Those south winds are going to keep things mild overnight, too, pretty much staying in the low 60s to near 60 degrees, maybe 59 right about dawn, and then warming up to a nice day tomorrow. We'll have our complete weekend outlook coming up and a look at the week leading to Christmas in just a few minutes. Scott?
All right, Steve, thank you. The Florida Department of Transportation continues to look at different plans to ease the traffic headaches around the Bradenton-Palmetto area. Tonight, transportation officials shared all of the options at a special public meeting. ABC7's Rick Adams has more from the Bradenton Area Convention Center.
Well, traffic and congestion continues to be one of the biggest issues here in Manatee County. This public meeting brought out a lot of folks who had a chance to have their voices heard.
They're facing huge commutes of an hour and a half just to get through the Bradenton-Palmetto area.
What John Walsh is describing are the headaches so many folks experience daily driving over the Manatee River. He and his wife Vern live in the Riviera Dunes community. They're happy to see that FDOT is looking into a bunch of different options to improve the situation.
Should have been studied 20 years ago instead of now. But you still, you know, each road starts with a single step, so we need to do this.
There are 11 different alternatives that FDOT has created to ease traffic around the DeSoto and Green Bridge area. Some are short-term and some are long-term. The short-term solutions include making signal modifications and relocating some of the left turns at the main intersections. Longer-term, FDOT is looking into a new bridge over the Manatee River and an elevated thruway. These are options which is getting lots of reaction from the public.
We need that public comment because that's an important factor in determining which alternatives we can move forward and study further.
This meeting not only brought out residents but also elected officials. Betsy Bedak, chair of the Manatee County Commission, says this discussion is a big step in the right direction.
It's wonderful. I'm so glad to see so many people turning out to understand what the alternatives are. We're very early in the process, the planning, but this is the appropriate time for people to have input.
Next up, FDOT will evaluate all the public comments and then decide which projects they would like to start to move ahead with. And FDOT officials tell us the short-term solutions could be at least a year away, while the long-term solutions could be at least 10 years away. Reporting from Palmetto, I'm Rick Adams, ABC7, your Suncoast News.
All right, Rick, thank you. 5 years ago today, a man shot and killed more than 24 students and teachers at Sandy Hook Elementary School in Connecticut. The father of one of the victims was on the Suncoast today talking about that awful day. Victoria Soto was a first-grade teacher at Sandy Hook and spent her final moments protecting her students. Her father, Carlos, now works with the Where Angels Play Foundation, which builds playgrounds around the world in honor of the Sandy Hook victims and victims of other tragedies.
My goal was to build 26 playgrounds, and that was it. Now we're up to there's gonna be 48 here, and I've been in half of them, and I enjoy it. And trying to help the families go forward.
The playground that will be built on South Lido will be in honor of the Dittmar family. They lost 2 sons, one to leukemia and one to a spearfishing accident. University of South Florida's president naming a new regional chancellor for the Sarasota Manatee campus. Dr. Karen Holbrook will lead the growing campus there. Holbrook most recently served as executive vice president at USF Sarasota Manatee and senior advisor to University President Judy Genshaft. She'll begin her new position after the start of the new year. Several universities are following in Florida State's footsteps, suspending Greek life on their campuses. The president at Florida State University says he has no timetable for reinstating Greek activities on campus, which were suspended last month after the death of a fraternity pledge. John Thrasher says he'll evaluate the suggestions of many groups and hopes to have more definitive ideas on how to proceed by the end of January. Since Florida State's announcement, the University of North Florida, Texas State, Ohio State, and Michigan have all issued suspensions of Greek activities, either due to a student's death or incidents involving fraternities and sororities. Still ahead tonight, we'll get back to Steve Newman, who will be back with the First Alert forecast for the upcoming weekend. Plus, GOP leaders working to deliver a major legislative victory to President Trump. We'll have the latest on the tax reform plan when we come back.
All hands on deck. What's up? I want to point out 3 tips for using the home computer more safely. Point away.
First, stop. Make sure your software is up to date and that you've password protected your computer's login and Wi-Fi connection.
Next, think before visiting a site, opening attachments, or clicking on links.
Then connect, knowing you're helping make the web safer for you
and for everyone. Make Stop, Think, Connect part of your daily online routine.
I heard about the Ditoli Cancer Center through friends of mine who had been treated here and were very pleased with the treatment.
If there is prostate cancer, we at the Ditoli Cancer Center will find it using 3D color flow Doppler ultrasound.
And that helped precisely identify where my cancer was. I can tell you that you will not find a finer, more professional team of clinicians anywhere in the world.
Hi, I'm Chef Bob. Watch Aprons in the Kitchen every Wednesday morning on ABC7, where we'll be serving up the most awesome dishes. Then stop by your neighborhood Publix, pick up the recipe card and all the ingredients.
The perfect musical for the holidays is live on the Players Center stage. Packed with the big band sounds from World War II, the 1940s Radio Hour is our boogie-woogie bugle boy answer to the holiday blues. Call the Players Center at 365-2494 or visit us at theplayers.org. The Players Wild Broadway series wishes you a Merry Christmas with the 1940s Radio Hour.
This is an important medical announcement. Xarelto and Pradaxa have been linked to uncontrollable bleeding and even death. If you've been prescribed one of these drugs and have experienced these dangerous side effects, you may be entitled to substantial compensation. Studies show that Pradaxa can cause more heart attacks than warfarin, and other countries have already issued safety warnings against this drug. Call now for a free assessment of your case and potential money damages. The call is confidential, there's no cost, and you may be eligible. Juries have awarded millions of dollars to Pradaxa victims, and thousands of Xarelto victims are filing their legal cases. Call the Drug Watch hotline if you or a loved one used Xarelto or Pradaxa and experienced uncontrollable bleeding, brain hemorrhage, or even death. You must call now.
Call 800-793-6055. 800-793-6055.
Download the all-new ABC7 First Alert weather app now.
Meteorologist Steve Newman in for Bob tonight, and the warm-up is underway, Steve.
You remember a week ago when it was like 80, 82 during the day and the evenings were like velvet? But that's coming back.
Okay.
We've had a week of cool weather, and some people like that, and you've had what you want, and now the rest of us get what we want. Let's take a look out over Sarasota Bay today. High clouds coming in, filtering the sun, but we still managed to warm up into the low to mid 70s over the Sun Coast, and that's only going to get warmer as we move through the weekend. There's our beautiful sunset over the Gulf of Mexico. High temperatures this afternoon, as I mentioned, 74, 75. Bradenton, your high was 73, the same at Parrish and Mayaca City, as warm as 75 at Lake Placid. Sebring, the hot spot, with 76 out in Highlands County. Now, if we look across the airport temperature right now, it's 62 degrees. The dew point is 58. That's moisture. It's not going to get any colder than 58 tonight. In fact, it's probably not going to get colder than 60 in most places, with the humidity of 86% and a south wind blowing in that warm air. Our high today at the airport, 72. Last night's low, 46. Pretty much near normal for the high, cooler than normal for the low, but now we're going to go above normal for low temperatures. It's been as warm as 90 degrees on this date in 1971, when Alan Everhart, our first weatherman at the station, was doing the weather just before me. He's a good friend of mine. Now, looking at the streaming of the milder air blowing in from the southwest on that subtropical jet, that's keeping temperatures mild, and even though there is a cold front stretched to the northwest of us and it's approaching, it doesn't have a lot of moisture with it, so any chance of rain is going to be 20–30% at best. And you can see high pressure in advance of that is bringing in a southerly wind flow, and that's why we have it so mild today and tomorrow. And once that front passes, another high will develop and give us a similar weather pattern with even warmer weather Saturday and Sunday. People coming down from up north are going to appreciate the difference. Look at this, 14 at Toronto now, 5 at Montreal, 21 in Chicago. Let's take a closer look at that. Syracuse is 15, Boston 20, and Bangor, Maine, currently 9 degrees, 13 at Cleveland and Detroit. They're going to come down here at 80 to 82 degree weather and absolutely love it. Have some bad news from California. We've had some fires going on around San Diego. Those in LA have pretty much subsided, but now a little ripple in the jet stream is going to come the back way into the Bay Area in the next 24–36 hours, and it's going to really surge the fire danger. They haven't had any rain out there for weeks and weeks, humidity 20%, and wind gusts tomorrow night into Saturday morning from the northwest 45. This is at the surface, but the mountains here that go up 1–2,000 feet, the Weather Service is predicting wind gusts as high as 80 and 90 miles per hour. We will keep our fingers crossed that this does not spark any wildfires in an area already ravaged. Here on the Gulf Coast, a weak cold front will pass, but it will have very little impact on our weather, other than the clouds will part once it passes. It will have warming to near 80 degrees on Sunday and stay that way right on through most of next week into the closing days of Christmas. Here's your futurecast showing that front approaching and a slight chance of some sprinkles, but there's not a lot there to work with. And when the front comes through tomorrow, again, only 20–30% chance. It passes tomorrow night into Saturday. High pressure builds in. There goes the high. Brings a south wind in again, and we have just extraordinary weather for people vacationing here at the time of year they want some warm weather. Here's our forecast for tonight. Lots of clouds with a 20% chance of showers and our low 60 degrees with that south wind. And tomorrow, a lot of clouds as well until late in the day. They'll start to thin out. We'll warm up to 73. And here's the good and bad news in the next 7 days. 73 to high tomorrow, warming up to 76 on Saturday. Then the low 80s as we move through the weekend and the early part of next week. I don't see any big change in this weather pattern until Christmas Day. Scott?
All right, thank you so much, Steve. The tax package in jeopardy tonight. At least one Republican senator now saying he will vote no. President Trump vowing to get this done by Christmas, but with a razor-thin majority in the Senate, the White House can't afford any more defections. ABC's Chuck Syvertson has more.
Republicans spent Thursday putting the final touches on their tax plan with hopes of voting on the bill next week and giving President Trump his first major legislative victory.
We're doing very well on the tax front.
But on Capitol Hill, it's far from being a done deal. Senator Marco Rubio telling ABC News right now he's a no vote unless the bill includes a larger expansion of the child tax credit.
Unless they can figure out a way to add to the 1,100 figure, I won't support the bill.
Senate Republicans can only afford to lose 2 votes, and Tennessee's Bob Corker is also expected to be a no. A fiscal hawk, he's concerned about the projected $1.5 trillion it's expected to add to the deficit. Democrats, united in their opposition, still trying to figure out what's actually in the bill. Republicans haven't released that yet. But here's what we do know. The plan gets rid of the backbone of Obamacare, repealing the mandate that all Americans have insurance. That could leave 13 million more Americans uninsured over the next decade. For the wealthy, the plan lowers the top tax rate from 39% down to 37%. For big business, the corporate rate is slashed from 35 to 21%. And for middle-class Americans, it doubles the standard deduction. For those who itemize, it keeps current deductions on medical expenses and student loan interest. But advocates for the middle class warn it caps state and local income and property tax deductions at just $10,000. Republican leadership and the president have promised relief to the middle class, but previous analysis of the Senate version shows Americans making $75,000 or less will actually pay more in taxes within a decade. Chuck Sievertson, ABC News, New York.
Florida Supreme Court is tossing out a petition that's trying to stop Governor Rick Scott from appointing 3 state Supreme Court justices on the day he leaves office. The court announced its decision today, saying that it cannot rule on something that hasn't happened. Age limits are forcing 3 justices to retire on the day Scott leaves office in January of 2019 because of term limits. Scott has said he plans to name their replacements that same morning. Those against that plan say the new governor should appoint the new justices. If Scott gets his way, though, the 7-member court would be stacked with 6 conservative judges. All right, sports is next, but first, here's what's coming up on Jimmy Kimmel.
We were thinking of you when we made this.
He's gone. He just left. He just...
Oh, sorry. I just took
Oh, jeez. Oh, sorry.
Is your old garage door stuck or broken? Would a new one give you a lift? Let Precision Door Overhead Garage Door Service of Sarasota come to the rescue with prompt and affordable repair service. Replacement doors come with an array of styles and colors, and they are rated to meet and exceed Florida standards. From estimates to installation, your satisfaction is our priority. If you're not 100% satisfied with any product, service, or installation, we will make it right, because Precision Door Service is a name you can trust.
Are you currently on Medicare? In other words, do you carry the red, white, and blue Medicare card? If so, are you suffering from chronic back pain? If you answered yes, you may be eligible for a pain-relieving back brace covered by Medicare at little to no cost, shipped directly to your home for free. These medical-grade back braces are ideal for lower back pain, arthritis, spinal disorders, and other chronic back problems. Will you qualify for a medical-grade back brace?
Call Back Brace America at 1-800-683-9262.
Since 1972, Sleep King has provided quality mattresses and accessories at the best discounted prices available. Top brands like Simmons, Sealy, Serta, Beautyrest, iComfort, and more. With available free delivery, free financing, and free setup and removal. For a comfortable night's sleep with same-day delivery, even if we have to carry it on our backs. Trust Sleep King of Sarasota. Buy it today, sleep on it tonight.
It's time to take a road trip. Alabama's got 100 road trips, and some will take you back in time to the Civil Rights Movement or even the Civil War. You boys play nice now. From Helen Keller to Hamlet. Check out these big guns. We're talking the USS Alabama. Alabama's got 100 road trips. Plan yours at alabama.travel. Which one you gonna take?
Don't allow your weight to threaten your health or control your future. Excess weight or obesity can cause emotional and physical health risks. But you can take control. The Your Weight Matters campaign offers free resources and tips to help you measure and understand your weight. Take the Your Weight Matters Challenge. The free toolkit prepares you to speak with a healthcare provider about your weight. Your weight does matter. Take the challenge and take control today.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. And as soon as I start to make my breakfast, Hamilton is right there. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. I mean, look at this little face. How could you not love him?
Attention travelers, next Tuesday, a major hurricane will cause complete chaos throughout the city. Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency.
Now, sports.
Suncoast football coaches and players earning postseason honors this week. St. Stephen's coach Todd Cornetti named Florida Dairy Farmers Coach of the Year for independent schools. The Falcons winning back-to-back conference titles. And at Venice High School, the state champion Indians have the Class 7A Coach and Player of the Year. Venice quarterback Bryce Carpenter earning Player of the Year honors after 42 passing touchdowns and 22 on the ground his senior season. And Coach John Peacock winning 7A Coach of the Year. The Indians finishing the season with a 14-1 record and that state title. In 11 seasons now, Peacock has a 108-25 record at Venice High. Very impressive. Tampa Bay Lightning going for 6 in a row tonight, playing in Arizona this evening. Right there you saw a slap shot to the face of Christian Fischer of the Coyotes. He went down hard onto the ice. That had to hurt. He left the game after that. Still in the first period, the Lightning get on the scoreboard, and they do it often tonight. Tampa Bay's Vladislav Namestnikov gets his 13th goal of the season off the wrist shot right there. It is 1-0 Lightning. They would score more in the first a little later on. Braden Point would get a backhand shot to make it 2-0 as they storm up the ice. Watch this shot. Beauty. He gets it in to score. Move on now to the second period. Lightning are still ahead in this one. And then it's Nikita Kucherov keeping the scoring going. He is on fire this evening, and he gets another one right there. That makes it 3-0. Right now it's in the third period. Lightning lead it 4-1. Looks like they're going to make it 6 in a row. Former UCF coach Scott Frost has won the Eddie Robinson Award as the National Football Coach of the Year after guiding Central Florida to a perfect regular season. The Knights went 12-0 in his second season there, winning the American Athletic Conference Championship and a Peach Bowl bid before Frost announced that he will return to Nebraska to become head coach at his alma mater. Oklahoma's Lincoln Riley, Georgia's Kirby Smart, and Dabo Swinney of Clemson were among the 8 finalists after guiding their teams to playoff semifinal berths. That's a look at sports for tonight. Tonight's winning lotto numbers are next. Stay with us.
Need more space in your place? The More Space Place can help with Murphy beds that disappear to reveal a home office, living room, or den. Custom closets with designated areas for your shoes, bags, wardrobe, and accessories. Custom-built entertainment centers, garage storage systems, and more. The More Space Place has 3 showrooms next to Sonny's on US 41 South in Sarasota, on Lakewood Ranch Boulevard just south of State Route 64 in Bradenton, and on Tamiami Trail next to Panera Bread in Port Charlotte. Put more space in your place at the More Space Place.
They're coming from Tampa, Fort Myers, even Orlando. They're coming from everywhere for the Sarasota Ford Promise. Our promise means a new car you'll love. If not, return it for one you do. At Sarasota Ford, we promise live market pricing. We monitor national pricing on our entire inventory, so you get the best deal. In fact, we guarantee it. Bring us any competitor's ad, and we'll beat it by at least $1,000. That's why they're coming from everywhere to Sarasota Ford, where 41 meets 301. SarasotaFord.com.
Attention, Americans eligible for Medicare. Are you getting all the benefits you're entitled to? Did you know there may be money available to lower your medical prescription costs? Call Health Markets and we'll tell you if you qualify.
Hi, I'm Dr. Martin Jeetsi. It's a new Medicare year. That means more changes and more confusion. The key question is, what can you do now to ensure you get the care you need in the coming year?
Call Health Markets today. You may qualify to save money on prescriptions. We'll help you find plans that may cost less, cover more, and could even lower your prescription costs to increase your savings. We help you find all the benefits you're entitled to, and we do it at no cost.
Make sure you have what you need to get the care that's right for you.
Find out if you qualify to receive extra help with your prescriptions. Call the number on the screen now. Representatives are standing by.
Come out and enjoy a taste of Hanukkah this Sunday, December 17th from 3 to 6 p.m. at Phillipi Estate Park on 41 in Sarasota. Everyone is invited. Admission is just $5 for adults. Children are free and free parking. See the world-famous Belunak, BMX trick stars, and more. Delicious gourmet kosher foods, music, and a 4-ton snow slide. Fun for the entire family. A taste of Hanukkah this Sunday, December 17th from 3 to 6 at Phillipi Estate Park.
It's me, Artie. Come see what I collected from the Creative Galaxy in my idea box.
Transform your world.
Will you help me make art?
Before you throw it away,
Hey, I have an idea.
Think outside the box.
Go be amazing!
Give your cardboard box another life. Recycle.
Check out mysuncoast.com/dining, your guide to the foodie lifestyle. The Florida Lottery winning numbers are sponsored by Frontier Fios.
Well, we're a lot warmer than we were last night, aren't we?
It's going to stay mild overnight.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at the next 12 hours from our overnight planner, showing that temperatures will pretty much stay in the low 60s, bottoming out about 60, maybe 59, then warming up to another beautiful day tomorrow, but even warmer over the weekend.
Okay. Steve, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great evening ahead. We hope to see you again tomorrow.